Excellent. So, good morning. We are starting with our big ball class, seated on your big ball. If it's your first time using the big ball, your feet being wider apart will be safer for you than if your feet are closer together. This is be less stable. So, let's put your feet just where they're comfortable, where you can get a little feel for the ball. You can start to swish your hips around, maybe back and forth. And we're going to start to just lightly bounce and get a feel for that. So I want to make sure that your body weight is forward at the front of your ball because I don't want you to tip backward over your ball. And if you're comfortable with this, we can start to do a little more dynamic bouncing where you're actually sort of hopping up and down on your ball. And if this feels okay, we can graduate to lifting those feet so that you're actually hopping and your feet are leaving the floor. Make sure your body weight is pitched forward just a little bit so that you don't flip over backwards. All right, let's add some arms in here. And you can play some music that makes you happy and bouncy. Always helpful. And let's try and coordinate our movements with our breath. So you are breathing, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Let's go in a circle. And let's reverse that, going the other way. Good. Let's go with some jumping jacks, opening the legs and opening the arms. And if you really don't like the hopping version, you can go with one foot out and always have one foot on the floor. You decide what you're comfortable with. So it starts to become a little bit of cardio, as you can tell. I'm breathing a little more heavily. Let's go into a little twist. So we're twisting hips, knees, shoulders, arms. Let's go with wider arms. Keep that going. Perfect. Let's go back to those jumping jacks. And let's go jumping jacks in a circle. Let's reverse the circle. Again, if you don't like the jumping jacks and you want to keep one foot on the floor, keep one foot on the floor and just step one to the side, then the other. Let's go back into that little bit of rotation, doing the twist with wider arms. Very good. Now, here comes the tricky part. We're going to bounce 2 times, stand up, but put your hand on your ball. Bounce again, stand up, put your hand on your ball. And the reason we put the hand on the ball is so that it doesn't go anywhere. And you can lift one knee when you come up. Lift. Lift. Good. Don't let that ball roll away. And then we'll come down to a seated position. Excellent. So hopefully you warmed yourself up. If you want to bring your hand just to your neck or to your heart, you can feel, see, well, we've actually increased our heart rate. Let's close our eyes and we'll just put our hands softly on our knees and we'll inhale through the nose and open the mouth as we exhale. Again, inhaling through the nose and nice long exhale, just bringing that heart rate down. Let's think about breathing wide into the ribs. And as we exhale, pulling belly to spine. See if we can't sit a little taller and straighter. And exhale. Expand the rib cage wide. And exhale, scoop the tummy in. Let's start to tilt the pelvis as we exhale. We'll tuck the tail under, round out your lower back. And then we'll arc the spine. Again, let's tilt the pelvis, rounding the lower back. And then arc the spine, pull the collarbones open. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale and exhale. So to tilt the pelvis, we are rolling the ball a little bit with your tailbone, but we're tilting and scooping in from the tummy to get the tilt to happen. Arc as we inhale, round as we exhale. Good. And then we'll come to a level pelvis. We'll lift one hip and then the other. So you may feel like you're swishing your ball just a little from the left to the right. Not a huge movement. As a matter of fact, you can even just think about my spine that I just showed you is hangs from a post. So the bottom part can swing. So think of yourself hanging from the ceiling and it's just your hips that are swinging. And you may feel a little bit of stretch in your lumbar spine in the sacrum area. Of course, if it doesn't feel good, you'll stop. For the most people, it will feel fine. Perfect. Let's come back to center. Let's take the arms up. Big inhale. And exhale. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to open the arms. Again. Let's reach up. Take your left hand behind your head. Push your head back in your hand. And you're just going to lift your elbow up to the sky. And then come down. Let's do that again. We'll inhale as we lift elbow up to the sky and down. So we're just opening this left side of the rib cage. Nothing huge. We do want to make sure your head is pulled back. Imagine your head, your hand, your shoulders are all against the same wall. So opening as we inhale, exhaling back to center. Let's do that one more time. We'll bring that hand down. Take your right hand behind your head. Back your head up into your hand. Grow tall in your spine. Lift your elbow up toward the sky and back down. It's almost like you're tracing a little mark with your elbow from the wall to the ceiling. Inhale and exhale. And maybe it's a little easier to do it on this side, and maybe it's a little more challenging. Good, let's bring our hands back together across the heart. We're just going to rotate from right to left. So with our feet planted firmly on the floor, you're only turning as far as you can go while you keep your legs stable and your pelvis stable on your ball. But let's see if we can increase that range of motion. You're going to take whichever side is more challenging to turn toward. For me, it would be this side. I'm going to put one hand under my arm. Your elbow is coming close. Sometimes we pump a towel or a ball, but today we're just going to use our imagination and imagine that there's a little spring here and you're pumping your elbow toward your rib cage. Palm is facing the ceiling. Keep that going, and you may feel the muscle under your arm, your Superman muscle, just starting to sort of pop into your fingertips a little. You don't need your hand there. It's nice to feel what the muscles are doing. You can feel it from the inside of your body also. Let's cross the arms and try those rotations again. And hopefully it will be a little easier to turn in that one direction. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Or if you're really stuck on one side, do the first side twice. Palm is facing up, elbows coming in and out. And then we'll do those rotations again. Think of spiraling up toward the ceiling as you do your rotation, and that you've stacked your bones and aligned them very well so that they are free to turn as far as they're able to. Good. Let's take that left hand behind your head again. Back your head back into your hand. We're going to go up, and maybe it's a little bit easier now to go into that side bend. Let's just do 3 like this. And we'll do the same thing with the other hand behind your head. Again, sitting tall, bringing that elbow up toward the ceiling. Good. Let's come back to our tummy. We're going to scoop our tummy in, and we're going to float our right heel up, or you're going to lift that foot off the floor. And you may find that your ball is wobbly. You can put your hands where you like. They can be on the ball. You can go on your hips. You can take your arms out, whatever helps you stabilize. And then we'll put that foot down. Let's tighten up our tummy. We'll float the left heel up, and then possibly lift the left foot. And you may find that there's a difference. Maybe we move, we wiggle a little bit more with one foot raised than the other. Let's put that foot down. We'll go back to the first side. We'll tighten up our tummy. We'll float our leg. Good. Stay here and breathe. Let's see if we can straighten the leg out. And we're going to point and flex our foot here. So the knee is as straight as you can make it. And if your ball is shifting underneath you, don't worry. It just means that your abdominals are doing a little bit of extra work to help keep you stable. Let's circle the foot at the ankle. And reverse that circle. And then we'll put that foot down. Good. Let's tighten up our tummy. We'll float again, left foot up. Straighten out the leg. And we'll point and flex the foot. If this isn't working for you and you want to have your foot on the floor, you can put your heel down and continue to point and flex your foot. And let's circle at the ankle. If your leg is raised, is your knee as straight as you can make it? Let's reverse it. Make those circles as big as you can. Good. Let's step our feet wider apart. Hands are on our knees, and we're going to start to make a big circle with your hips. So big circle, and it should feel nice. Like if it doesn't feel nice, again, stop, don't do it, or make this motion smaller. Let's reverse it. Perfect. Let's go with our feet on our ball. You're going onto your back. So you're going to pull that ball close to you. Your hands are down by your side. Your head is on the floor. So we're going to tighten up our tummy. You're going to press down in the legs and just lift those hips a little. And then come on back down. So you're hugging your ball close to you with your legs. Press down in the legs, lift the hips, and lower the hips. Again, press down in the legs. Give that ball a little squeeze. You'll feel your hamstrings and possibly your glute muscles working as we lift the hips up. Press down in the shoulders, press down in the arms. So waking up the back side of the body. Press down and lift. Let's do that again. Press down and lift the hips. Beautiful. Can you feel your tummy muscles engaging here? And let's lower. Let's take that ball in your hands. Feet are coming to the floor. You're going to reach the ball up and pull the shoulder blades down. Push the ball to the ceiling. Pull the shoulder blades down. Inhale, push up. Exhale, pull down. Inhale, press up. Exhale, press down. Let's hold it here. Take a big breath. Tighten up your rib cage, tighten up your tummy, and send your ball over your head. And bring your hands back to the ceiling. Again, tighten up your tummy, send your ball over your head, and hands back to the ceiling, ball back to the ceiling. Again, tighten up your tummy, send your arms away. So we want to avoid arcing the spine by connecting our tummy muscles and the ribs toward the hips. We are able to keep our spine neutral. Let's send one leg out as we send the ball over your head. Nice little stretch, pull that leg back in and switch. Again, and switch. So feel the stretch as you try and reach the wall with your big toe. Try to avoid any movement in the spine and the pelvis. Keep everything still. And then we'll tighten up our tummy. We'll float one leg up and two. Good. So we've got 90-degree angle at the knees and the hips. We'll touch one toe down and bring that leg back up. And then the other. Good. So let's focus on what's happening in the spine, how you're connected in your tummy, drawing lower belly flat down toward your spine, but your spine has its natural curve. We can start to add in that movement with the ball over the head. Very good. So we can keep this going. Or if you're not moving your ball, you're just moving those legs, and then we'll come back. We'll tighten up our tummy. We'll dip both legs down just a couple of inches and bring them back. Again, tighten the tummy. We lower both legs just a couple of inches. I want you to feel lower belly working. You're working from 90 degrees and away. Or if that bothers your back, you bring your knees closer to your chest and up to 90. Closer to your chest and up to 90. So your variation of that exercise, as long as you're neutral in your spine, we can add the ball going over the head. And if that causes you to arc your spine or work in your back, don't add the ball. Keep the ball pushed to the ceiling. So starting to feel the front side of the body really working for us here. And then we'll put that ball down. Let's put our legs long on our ball and our hands are down by our side. So we have our heels on the ball and the lower part of your calves. Let's tighten up the tummy, squeeze the bum cheeks and float the hips up and bring the hips down. We'll tighten up the tummy, squeeze the bum cheeks and lift the hips up and lower the hips. So we don't go very high off the floor. We'll tighten and lift. So here we'll hold and we'll start to pump the arms. Inhaling for 5 and exhaling for 5. So how do we keep our ball from shifting around on us? It's with our butt muscles. So I want you to squeeze like you've got a quarter between your bum cheeks and you don't want to drop that. And it's like your muscles are wrapping all around to your bum cheeks. So sometimes we do those squeeze release exercises with your glute muscles. Now you just want to hold that squeeze and lift. Keep going, keep breathing. If this bothers your knees at all, bring the ball closer and maybe more underneath your knees. Keep pumping the arms, inhaling and exhaling. So these are our hundreds on the ball. They're much easier because your head is on the floor, but feel the contact with the shoulder blades. Feel how the glute muscles have to work to support you. Feel how your waist is working to support you in this position. Continue to breathe. So I don't really count these. It's a guide, but we can do many more than 100. Sometimes we can do 200 or 300 like this. So you carry on as you wish. And when you've had enough, we'll bring those hips down. Let's take right foot on the left knee and we're going to roll the ball close to you and away. And we'll roll the ball close to you and away. So you're feeling a stretch around the hip. Your hips are on the floor. Your head is on the floor. Let's go with one more. And then we'll switch the other foot on the opposite knee and roll the ball towards you and away. Inhale and exhale. Just find that nice smooth movement. Timing is with your breath. And it should just feel nice. I think we have one more. Or to what feels right for you. Let's bring our feet to the floor and we're going to come up and onto hands and knees. So on hands and knees, we'll slide shoulder blades together, shoulder blades apart. Good. And then let's come right down and onto your tummy. We're going to take our elbows wide. Your nose is pointing to the floor. We'll tighten up our belly. Draw the shoulders back, tip your nose forward and start to lift the spine. So we're just starting to warm up the back extensors. Again, tighten the tummy, draw the shoulders back, tip your nose forward and float your chest up and down. So feel the quality of the movement here on the floor. As we peel ourselves away from the floor, we're going onto the ball next. We'll tighten the tummy, tip the nose forward. So I haven't lifted my head, I'm not looking up to the wall. I'm allowing my head to float as soon as my nose leaves the floor. So memorize that feeling. We're going onto the ball on your belly. And we'll bring our hands down to the floor and we'll straighten our legs out and we'll push back through the heels. So you're really well anchored in your feet. So somebody could come and push you around in your ball and you're not really going to move a whole lot because your legs are really working. Let's come down. Tighten up your tummy, pull your shoulders back and float yourself up. So we're looking for that same feeling of how the back extensors lift you that we just experienced from the floor. Oh, and the other thing is about the ball, some people feel really nauseous when they go on their tummy on the ball. So if you're one of those people, go to the floor, don't do this exercise from the ball. And it's just a matter of where the ball is pressing on your belly. And it just may not feel super great. So you have this option. We're going to bring our hands back by our hips. We're going to come down. We'll tighten the tummy, draw the shoulders back, and we'll lift chest away from the ball. Push back through the heels. So you're really being stabilized by your feet. Think about the CARS program where you straighten and stiffen those legs to give you support. You're doing the exact same thing here. Straighten your legs, make them work, and feel how much easier it is to do that back extension exercise. Let's inhale as we lift up. And exhale as we lower. And inhale as we lift. We'll hold it here. You're going to turn your palms open. Tighten up that tummy. Feel how your spine is lifted. You're wide in the front of the body, but we're not compressing in the lower back. Let's come down. Let's do that again. We'll tighten up the tummy, draw the shoulders back, lift head, chest, shoulders, lift those arms up, and we'll start to move the arms in and out. Palms are facing the floor. And then we'll come down. We'll bend our knees and allow your head to hang toward the floor. So this can almost feel like a little bit of traction for your spine. And if you have your knees lifted off the floor, but your toes are curled under and that's where your anchor is, then it can really allow you to release in the lower back. All righty, let's come off that ball. Just gonna grab a drink and we're going to go to a seated position. We're going to take our ball out in front in your hands. So we're tall in our spine. We'll tilt our pelvis, tuck our tail, and start to curl backward. Inhale, reach that ball to the ceiling. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, tuck the tail, curl back. Inhale, reach, ball to the ceiling. Again. So tipping off of the sits bones to the sacrum and coming back up on top of your sits bones. Tilt and curl back. Inhale, lift tall. Tilt and curl back. Let's stay right here. We're going to move our ball to the right, back to the middle, and then to the left. Back to the middle. Come on up tall. Exhale, curl. Turning right, center, left, center, and tall. On top of your sits bones, curl back. And we'll turn and turn and tall. Turn and turn. Make sure those legs are not moving. You're really anchored in your pelvis. And then we'll sit up tall. Let's bring our ball to the top of our head, and we're going to straighten out our legs. So if you're a person that has a hard time sitting up straight, now is a good time to sit on your towel or your yoga block or some books. And we're going to pull, let's say, here we go. I'm going to turn this way a bit. So my legs are just open a little wider than my hips. And you're as tall as you can be. And you're going to pull that ball down on your head and reach it up. Pull down, and you want to grow tall into your ball. Imagine you have a pointy head like a pencil, and you're trying to pierce your ball as you pull it down on your pencil. Good. And if this bothers your shoulders, you can do this without the ball. Just grow tall and push the crown of your head up into your ball. Let's do that again. Pull the ball down, push up tall. We're going to start to rotate. Come on back to the middle, and then rotate and come back to the middle. Release it. So it becomes a lot of work for the arms. Pull down with the arms, push up into your ball, turn back to center, and turn back to center. Release your arms. Good. Let's do that one more time. So we're going to pull the ball down, push up into your ball. We'll turn. So when I'm turning, my legs are not shifting. My pelvis is solid, and I'm doing my rotation from my waist. All right. How did that feel? A lot of work for the arms, right? Let's keep that ball out in front. You're going to take one arm up, bring it to the outside of your ball. And we're going to reach that other hand behind you, and we're just going to help increase our rotation. You want to lengthen up your spine. And then we'll bring ourselves back. We'll do the same thing. Reach the other arm up, bring it under like you're threading a needle. Your hand goes to the outside of the ball. Reach that other arm around, grow tall. Use your hand that's on the floor behind you. I'm just going to turn a little bit. And you're going to sit tall and rotate. Let's do that again. Hand lifting up, threading through, the other arm going behind you. Use that hand behind you. Use your hand on your ball to help you lengthen your spine and rotate. We'll do one more. Reach up, reach through. Back of the hand on the ball, the other hand goes behind. Lift yourself up nice and tall and look backward over your shoulder. Let's take our hands on top of our ball. Feet are flexed. We're sitting tall. We'll bring our chin toward the chest, and we're going to scoop our belly in as we round our spine forward. Our ball moves away. And then let's tighten up our tummy. We'll imagine we're stacking our vertebra up against a wall, one at a time. And the last thing up is your head. Let's do that again. Bring the chin toward the chest. Peel yourself away from your imaginary wall as we start to bring the rib cage towards the hips and the belly is drawn in. Your ball starts to roll away. You'll go as far as feels good for you. Tighten up your tummy and start to slowly rebuild your spine, stacking the vertebra up one on top of each other. Let's coordinate that with our breath. Let's inhale and exhale. Nod the chin toward the chest. A nice, long, slow exhale. Let's rebuild the spine on the inhale. A nice long, slow inhale. Very good. Let's bring our ball just to our feet. You're going to come back on your elbows and we're going to have our feet flexed. We're going to lift that ball up, straighten the legs and bend the knees. So if your ball is really large and this does not feel great in your hips, switch to your smaller sponge ball, or you can use no ball or just use your towel. So some of the balls are super huge. Like if you have a 65 centimeter and you're a tiny little woman, it's going to feel really, really wide in your hips. So don't do that if that's the case. Just eliminate the ball. Lift up in the rib cage, lift up in the shoulders. And then we'll put that ball down. We're going to come back up. Take the ball in our hands, lengthen out our legs, tilt our pelvis, flex our feet, and roll ourselves all the way down to the floor. And take the ball back over your head and bring your ball up to the ceiling. Bring your chin toward your chest. Slowly start to roll yourself forward. And we're going to reach forward and point the toes. Stack your vertebra up nice and tall. Take your time with this. Tilt the pelvis. Start to roll back. Inhaling and exhaling. So the ball counteracts the weight of the head. So if you have challenges doing a roll up, the ball can be very helpful. Tilt the pelvis with control. We're rolling down. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's point the toes. And then we'll roll it down. Let's take that ball between our feet. Good. We're just going to give it a little squeeze. Let go. Squeeze. Let go. If it bothers your knees, take your ball a little bit lower so it's between your legs as opposed to your feet. Okay. So you put that where it feels best for you, that you're able to feel some inner thighs working. Squeezing, letting go, squeezing, letting go, squeezing, letting go. Good, let's bend the knees. We'll put the ball down. You're going to let your left leg rest on your ball and take your right leg to the ceiling. Here we'll hold the leg and we'll point and flex the foot. We'll circle at the ankle again and reverse those circles. Good, let's switch legs. Holding the other leg, we point and flex the foot. And circle at the ankle. All right, let's take our ball a little further away, and you're going to take that left foot rested on your ball. Take your right foot to the ceiling. Let's straighten out this knee as much as you can. Bring your leg across the body, circle it around and out. So think of your pelvis like a bowl of soup, and you're not sloshing any of the soup. And so your tattletale is going to become your big ball. If it's moving around, you know you're moving your pelvis. Let's reverse that circle. If you're moving your pelvis or if your ball is moving, make your leg circle smaller. Control it. Make sure you're in neutral lumbar spine. And then we'll switch legs. So again, the ball is underneath the foot. We're going to point the toes, bring the leg across the body and circle. Work to your edge where you're able to make that circle and keep your pelvis still. Make the circle as big as you can. Reverse your circle. If making the circle bigger causes you to move your ball, then you've gone just a little too far. Pull it back a little bit and make that circle a little smaller, but work to the edge where you're challenging yourself. Good. Let's take that ball, oops, into your hands. And we're going to come on up into a curl forward. We're going to push one leg out and switch legs and switch legs. You can totally do this exercise with your head on the floor. And if you don't mind the curl forward, you're going to stay here and you're going to point your toes and push. So you're not using your hands to pull your knee in. You're going to try and pull that knee in toward your shoulder each time. If you're able to maintain your lumbar spine neutral, we'll start moving the arms over the head. Inhale and exhale. Keep moving, keep breathing. If at any point it becomes too much for your neck, put your head down, but keep the arms and legs moving. Keep the spine neutral. And then we'll put that ball down. Let's take our ball underneath our legs. And we're going to take our arms out wide. You want to hug that ball close to you. So you're hugging with the backs of the legs. We're going to tighten up our tummy and we're going to roll the hips one direction. Keep your shoulder blades on the floor and roll yourself back to the middle. And let's do the same thing on the other side. So we'll inhale, tip. Keep your shoulder blades on the floor. Your one hip is lifting. Tighten up your tummy and pull yourself back so you feel your waist muscles doing the work, your obliques. Inhaling to one side and exhaling back to the middle. The more you can cinch in the waist, the more you will feel the work for your tummy. Are you truly anchoring your shoulder blades? Don't let them lift when you go over to the side. Let's just finish one more on each side. I don't know if that's one more or if you're already there. And we're going to take our ball back into our hands. So pass it to your hands from your feet. We're going to have knees together. Tighten up the tummy, flex the feet, and push your legs out. Bend your knees and pull them in. So you're taking them out on the diagonal or more toward the ceiling if you need to do that to keep your spine neutral. Knees are touching. It's as though you have one leg. Let's come on up to a curl forward and we'll send arms and legs in opposite directions. Reach away, pull back. No movement in your spine here. It's just your arms and legs. Again, if this is too much in the neck, keep your head down and keep moving the arms and legs. Squeeze knees together. Inner thighs are working here. And then we'll take our straight legs up to the ceiling. We're going to wiggle our hands around to the front of your ball and separate your feet so they're hip distance apart on the back of your ball. We want knees as straight as possible, and you're holding your hands basically with your fingertips. Let's adjust our position so that our spine is neutral, anchor in the sacrum. So maybe that the legs and the ball move a little further away. Let's lower one arm in the opposite leg, tighten up the tummy and lift. Inhale, lower the other arm and the opposite leg, tighten up the tummy and lift. Don't let your back arc when you take the arm and leg down. Control what's happening. Inhale, draw the tummy in, exhale. High again. You may feel those hip flexors working because they are. And that shouldn't necessarily be a bad feeling, but you may be just aware of them. One more. Let's put our ball down and our feet are going to come on top of our ball. And your feet are parallel, hip distance apart. Let's press down in the feet and lift the hips up. Okay, let's press down in the feet and lift the pelvis. We're not going super high. Let's tilt the pelvis, tuck the tail, and roll yourself up to your shoulder blades and then back down. So think of your spine very fragile, that you're moving each bone one at a time, peeling yourself up. And then replacing those bones down very gently, one at a time, and you'll start to feel a fair chunk of work in your hamstrings. Let's roll up. So I haven't pressed my ball away. My ball is still close. So it's sort of within a couple of inches of my bottom. Imprint the spine and roll up. And then roll down. Good, let's take a break with that. You're going to straighten one leg up to the ceiling, flex the foot and push the heel away, looking for a bigger stretch here. And bring that leg down. Let's straighten up the other leg, push the heel away. Let's put both feet flat on the ball again. Knees are bent. Your ball is close to your bottom, if not touching. Let's imprint the spine. Roll ourselves up. Here you're going to roll the ball out and pull the ball back. And roll the ball out and pull the ball back. Feel how the hamstrings are working a lot more now. Can we do 3 more? Keep the hips elevated. 2 and 1. And pull the legs in, roll down through the spine. Whew, and there may be a bit of a fire going on in the back of your legs. Let's push one heel to the ceiling. Point and flex the foot. Do whatever feels good for you here. And we'll do the same thing with the other leg. Stretching. Those legs work a lot in this exercise. Let's go with a little external rotation. So now our heels are together on the ball. Your toes are wide. Your knees are wide. And we're just going to press down in the feet and lift the hips up. So a little bit different in terms of the work that we're doing, but still it's the back side of the body. Again, let's press down in the feet, lift the hips up. And come down. Do you feel the work a little more on the outside of the hip? Maybe the outer hamstrings. All right. So let's press down in the feet. Let's make sure those knees are not too wide, but you're actually active in those legs. We're going to lift the hips up and you're going to straighten the legs and bend the knees. And straighten the legs and bend the knees. Straighten and bend. Froggy position with your legs. Straighten, bend. Try to keep those heels together. Don't let your feet separate too far apart. Try to keep the heels touching. One more. Then we pull it in and then we come down. Very nice. Grab your ball with your feet and pass it to your hands. Let's straighten those legs up to the ceiling. Come on up to a curl forward. We're going to point our toes. We'll lower one leg and switch and switch and switch and switch. Inhaling and exhaling. So again, if you don't like your head up, you put your head down. If you want to add the intensity of the ball movement, as long as you maintain lumbar spine neutral, you can add that movement with the arms. Again, head down or head up, ball or no ball. Single straight leg stretch. And then we'll put the ball between the feet. Let your head come down. Hands are behind your head. Let's straighten out those legs. We're going to curl up and cross toward one knee. Come down, curl up and cross toward the other knee. So again, if your ball is too wide, you may want to eliminate the ball and just do a regular crisscross or use your sponge ball between your ankles. your smaller Pilates ball. So we can increase the intensity of this exercise by twisting the legs so that the knee that you're turning toward comes closer to you, and you'll feel just a little more work in the obliques. So we're twisting, keep the knee straight. Let's do a few more. And then we'll pull that ball in. Put our feet down, step our feet wide. Let's move the pelvis in one direction, move the ball and the head in the other direction. Go where it feels good. All right, let's come on top of our ball again. Well, actually, before we do that, let's go just do a couple of side bridges. Park my ball. And we're gonna prop up on the elbow. Knees are bent. So we're just gonna incorporate a little more work for the side body. We're lifting the rib cage and lowering the rib cage. Let's lift the rib cage up, lift the arm up, lift the hips. You can take that top leg out straight if you like. We'll lower the hips and lift the hips. So straight leg or with two knees bent, doesn't matter. You find what works for you. That gives you that awareness and the awakening of the muscles on the side body. And then we'll sit ourselves down. Let's separate our knees. And we'll take our hand up to the sky and come into a little side bend. So again, it doesn't have to be huge. It can be just reaching up like you're trying to touch the ceiling. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Drop down the elbow. Rib cage moving, your elbows in a good position underneath your shoulder. Lift the rib cage, lift the arm. Option with the hips and the knees bent or the top leg extended. And you may do something different from side to side. Really straighten out the knee if you've got that top leg extended. Feel how your bottom side waist is working. And then we'll bring our hips down, separating our knees. We're going to take that arm up to the sky and come up on the diagonal. Nice big stretch here. Good. Let's come on top of our ball again. So on top of our ball, you're going to bring your hands out to touch the floor. Go this way a little more on the diagonal. We're going to have your toes curled under. You're going to tighten up your tummy and you're going to float your legs up. Good. Let's bend the elbows, come down and up. So this is nice light push-up movement. So here your hands are wider than your shoulders and your elbows are going out to the side. So it's not the same as a tricep press we would do from the floor, and you are supported, your body weight is supported on that ball. Let's see if we can make the legs straighter, and we'll stay right here. We're going to start to move the legs in and out. Feel how your butt muscles do the work here. Inner thighs, your knees as straight as you can make them. We're going to inhale for 5 counts and exhale for 5 counts. So these are heel beats. When we do them on the floor, they're much more challenging. But because we're up on the ball and the legs are a little more free, they're not brushing against the ground, it's easier to really climb into that work in your glutes. And then we'll release that. Let's come down and take a little break. Again, you can bend your knees, have your toes curled under. So again, your toes, your feet are controlling where you're moving on your ball. And you may feel a nice stretch through the backside body. Let's come up. Let's keep the toes down, anchored onto the mat. So we'll tighten up our tummy. We're going to lift one arm and the opposite leg. And we'll bring the hand and the foot down, tighten up the tummy, and send the other arm and the opposite leg away. And you may find that this is easier for one arm and leg than the other. Tighten up the tummy, add arm and leg lifting. Feel like you're pulling your belly off your ball. Let's do the same thing on the other side. And what strategy does your body have to try and do this movement with ease? For sure, one side is like easy. It's like habit. It's like we know how to do it. But the other side, our body has to figure out how to do it. And it'll have some funny little strategies and you'll feel different muscles working. Unless you're perfectly symmetrical, which none of us are, I hope that you're feeling the difference. And let's do that one more time. So, this is my challenging side. Let's go down. We'll take a little break here. Feeling that stretch in the lumbar spine. You can roll yourself around a little bit to where it feels good. All right, let's go with a ball a little further out. So we're going to walk our hands forward. Now our ball is more at our thighs. Hands are wider than your shoulders, and we're going down and up. Let's straighten out the legs as much as you can so that when we lower the upper body, the legs go up in the air, a bit like a seesaw. Good. And if this doesn't feel safe for you, back yourself up and just continue with the ball under your belly, lifting and lowering the upper body. If you'd like a little bit more, you're going to move your ball. Sorry, I'm going to run out of room for the camera here. You're going to have your ball more towards your knees or your feet. And there you're going down and up. So here we won't be so much like a seesaw, but I do want you to have that secure feeling that you're centered. And then we're going to come back. Let's walk our hands back. All right, so I'm going to give you one more challenging exercise here. You're just going to roll your shoulders back, take a little break. So this one is called a knee stretch on the ball. It's important that the ball is at your feet to start. Otherwise, you're going to end up doing a somersault. All right, so this one I really prefer to spot people, but it's a fun exercise. So we're scooping in our tummy. You're rolling your ball in towards your hands and away. So it's important the ball is more towards your feet. If you're okay with an inversion and you want to start with your ball above your knees, then you're going to go really high. But for most of us, you'll want the ball towards your feet. Pull the knees in and push out. Pull the knees in and push away. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll walk our hands back with control. You're coming up into a tall kneeling position. Let me see everybody's head in the screen there. Everybody survived that one? Perfect. Good. Okay, thumbs up, perfect. Let's put your ball at your left hip. You're going to straighten out your right leg. And you're really going to let your hips sink into your ball, and you're coming over with the hand toward the floor. This leg is lifted. Hand can be on the hip. We're going to point front and flex back. Point front, flex back. Inhale, exhale. Good. Try to keep your foot about the height of your hip. And if your ball is super big and you just want to hug your ball with your arm, you can totally do that. If you want this other hand in front on your ball, that's also an option. Let's go with a flex foot. We're going down toward the floor and up. So it'll seem like we have a bigger range of motion because we can move lower, but in actuality, the We can't lift any higher than we already do when we're on the floor. That's just the way the hips are designed. Foot is flexed, foot is parallel to the floor. Let's keep the leg lifted, point the toes, and we're circling. Good, reach that leg away from you. Reverse the circles. Really starting to feel some work in the side hip now. Good, let's come over and onto our tummy on the ball again. We're going to straighten both legs out. Arms are straight, and we start to move the legs in and out again, feeling the glute muscles working. Can you pull your tummy up off the ball? Your neck is long, your spine is neutral. Can we work a little more quickly and get those butt muscles working a little more? And then we'll release, and we'll come to the other side. Again, you want to park your hip on your ball, so it's like you're doing a little side lean, and we'll straighten out that left leg, bringing right hand down to the floor, hand on your hip. Leg about the height of your hip, pointing, flexing. Sorry, foot about the height of your hip. Try to avoid moving the upper body forward and back. And again, if you prefer that hand on your ball in front, always a good option. Flex. Really feel your butt muscle when you kick the leg behind. Let's keep it long, and we'll go down and up. Good. So we're trying to find the same little bit of work here behind your hip bone. And then we'll point the toe. We'll go with some small circles. And reverse it. And then coming onto your tummy again. Bring our hands to the floor. We'll float our legs up, and we'll start to click those heels together in and out. Good. And then we'll come off of our ball to its nice seated position. We'll sit on our ball with most of our mat in front of us, and we're going to take our hands up toward the ceiling. Open the arms wide to a T, bring the arms forward. Here we'll tilt our pelvis, tuck our tail. We're going to start to walk our feet forward, and as we do so, we start to round our spine. Do not let your feet slide out underneath you. If you slide or skitter your feet away, you're going to end up on the floor. So you control this roll down by stepping your feet one at a time, coming back so your head and shoulders are on the ball. And there we'll take the arms over the head. Open the arms out wide, bring your hands to the ceiling. Nod your chin towards your chest. We're lifting our head up. We're tightening our tummy. We're rounding our spine. And we're starting to step our feet back toward our ball so that we come all the way up to a nice tall seated position. And everybody's still on their ball. Good stuff. Let's take the arms up. We'll take the arms out, arms in front. Tilt the pelvis, tuck the tail, and start to walk one foot at a time as you gradually lower with your rounded spine onto your ball. And it should feel almost like a nice massage. And we'll let our head go back to our ball. Let's take the arms over your head. We'll hold it here. And if this feels good for you, and that's enough for you, you can stay with this option. And if you want to get a little more adventurous, let's push down in both feet and straighten our legs so our ball starts to roll away and our head starts to go more toward the floor. And so you're in a huge extension over your ball. If it doesn't feel good in your back, bend your knees a little bit. Go to where it feels right for you. And if you really love this, close your eyes and just breathe. Inhale and exhale. See if you can't let those muscles relax. You're fully supported on the ball. If it causes any discomfort in the lower back, bend the knees just a little. And let's bring our hands behind our head. We're going to bend our knees. Nod your chin toward yourself, your chest. Good. So we're just slowly bringing that head up from your extension, which in some ways was almost an inversion with your head down toward the floor. And we'll start to walk our feet back toward our ball. Good. So seated, we're going to take our arms up toward the ceiling. And a big exhale. Let's bring that left hand behind your head, grow tall, and come into that side bend. And hopefully you're able to glide a lot more easily. Do the same thing, right hand behind the head and gliding into a nice side bend. Perfect. We're going to cross the arms, going into a nice rotation, going tall in our spine. Feeling that we're moving a lot more freely than the beginning of the class. Let's inhale, take the arms up, and exhale. Again, we'll take the arms up. Hands coming together, hands coming to the heart. Thank you for joining me this morning. I hope you enjoyed your time on the big ball.